Good evening, children. Good evening, children.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, there are 6 of us in the meeting. Good evening, children. Am I audible and clear? All right, we have to begin. So continuing with quadrilaterals. Here in a parallelogram ABCD, E and F are the midpoints of the sides AB and CD respectively. In a parallelogram ABCD. So opposite sides are parallel and equal. Opposite sides parallel. It's a parallelogram, so both the pairs of opposite sides are parallel and both pairs of opposite sides are equal. They're also equal. They're also equal. ABCD is a parallelogram. That means opposite sides are parallel. Both the pairs of opposite sides are parallel and equal. E and F are the midpoints of the sides AB and CD respectively. F is the midpoint of CD. E is the midpoint of AB. Show that the line segments AF and EC trisect the diagonal BD. Okay, so the only the diagonal BD is connected. The diagonal AC is not connected. The diagonal BD is connected. We need to prove that the diagonal BD is trisected. That is cut into 3 equal halves. Cut into 3 equal halves. And it's trisected by the line segments AF and EC because they cross over the diagonal BD. See this line segment AF, it goes over the diagonal BD. This line segment AF goes over or intersects or cuts the diagonal BD. This line segment EC goes over the diagonal BD or intersects the diagonal BD. So AF, the line segment AF intersects BD, the diagonal BD at P. The line segment EC intersects the diagonal BD at Q. So basically we'll have to prove that P and Q are the points of trisection of the diagonal BD. We need to prove that the points P and Q, see, you can put it in 2 different ways. So when you want to use the term line segments, then you must say prove that the line segments, because AF is cutting BD, EC is also cutting BD. So when you want to use it, the term line segments, then you say prove that the line segments AF and EC trisect the diagonal BD. With respect to the points P and C, with respect to the points P and Q, you can say that prove that P and Q are the points of trisection of BD. That is, point P and point Q trisect the diagonal BD. So what do we have, children? Parallelogram ABCD. Both pairs of opposite sides parallel and equal. E midpoint of AB. F midpoint of CD. AF intersects diagonal BD at P. EC intersects diagonal BD at Q. We need to prove that the line segments AF and EC trisect the diagonal BD, or we need to prove that the points P and Q are the points of trisection of the diagonal BD. The proof goes like this. We need to first prove that, see, for the sake of parallel, we want more parallel lines, For the sake of parallel lines, we have to prove that this quadrilateral is a parallelogram. we need to prove, the first step is to prove that this quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Why? Because we want parallel lines. We can get this result only when we prove that this is a parallelogram. This one is a parallelogram. So to prove that this is a parallelogram, we have so many criteria. One of which is, if you prove that one pair of opposite sides is parallel and equal, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. AECF. You have to prove that AECF is a parallelogram. It's a quadrilateral. It's a quadrilateral. It's not given. ABCD is a parallelogram. So AECF. We need to prove that one pair of opposite sides are parallel and equal. So it's a parallelogram. Now, AE is a part of what, children? AE is a part of AE is a part of which line segment?
AB, ma'am.
AB, very good. AE is a part of AB. And CF is a part of which line segment?
CD.
CD. Is AB parallel to CD?
Yes, ma'am.
Is AB parallel to CD?
Yes, ma'am.
What is, so a part of AB is what?
AE.
AE will definitely be parallel to any part of CD. And what is the part of CD here?
CF.
CF. So since this one, CD and AB, since AB is parallel to CD, since AB is parallel to CD, any portion of AB will be parallel to any portion. It can be a small portion of AB is parallel to a big portion of CD. That's okay. The line segments that are parallel need not be equal. Equality is different. Being parallel is different. A small part of AB can be parallel to a big portion of CD. They're parallel. That means even if you produce it, they're not going to meet anywhere. So since AB is parallel to CD, a part of AB, AE, will be parallel to a part of CD, which is CF. So AE is parallel to CF. So we proved that opposite sides are parallel, AE and CF. Now we'll have to prove that AE is equal to CF. AE is equal to CF. So how do we prove that? AE is equal to CF. Is AB equal to CD? Is AB equal to CD?
Yes, ma'am.
Why? Why is AB equal to CD?
Opposite sides of parallelogram.
Thank you. Yes. So opposite sides of parallelogram ABCD are equal. So then half of AB. Do you know the midpoint of AB? Do we know the midpoint of AB? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do we know the midpoint of CD?
Yes, ma'am.
Only then we can use half. So since AB is equal to CD and we know the midpoints of AB and CD, the next equation is half of AB will be equal to half of CD. Half of AB is AE because E is the midpoint. AE is equal to half of CD is CF. So like this, we prove that one pair of opposite sides of quadrilateral AECF is parallel and equal. Therefore, AECF is a parallelogram. Who can repeat this? One of you please repeat this. How do we prove that AECF is a parallelogram? How did we prove that this is a parallelogram? How did we prove that opposite sides? We took up the opposite sides AE and CF. AE and CF. We proved that they are parallel and equal. How did we do that? Yes, children? Okay, then if you have, do you have any questions? Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we proved that AECF is a parallelogram. Now see, now that it's a parallelogram, we haven't proved that AE is parallel to EC. We have not proved this. Or we have not proved that AF is parallel to EC. AF, see AF. We have not proved that AF is parallel to EC. We have not proved. But now it is true. Now AF is parallel to EC because AECF is a parallelogram. Now all the properties of a parallelogram can be seen in AECF. All the properties of a parallelogram can be seen in AECF because we proved it's a parallelogram. So the other pair of opposite sides are also parallel now because it's a parallelogram. We did not prove AF is parallel to EC. We didn't prove, but we proved that the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. So it's obvious that AF is parallel to EC. Correct? Yes or no, children? Do we understand why AF is parallel to EC? Why is AF parallel to EC, children? Because I'm
We
not
are
asking.
given that
Yeah.
we are given that ABCD is a parallelogram. So since E and F are AB and CD's midpoints respectively, EC is parallel and equal to AF, CF, and in a parallelogram, since the opposite sides are equal and parallel, AF is parallel to EC.
Yeah, AF is parallel to EC because AECF is a parallelogram. Thank you, Sankamitra. So AF is parallel to EC because now we have proved that AECF is a parallelogram. Now, what is this? A part of what is this one? A part of AF. And what is this? A part of EC. Are they parallel? See, this one is a part of AF, is a part of this AF. And this one is a part of the other side, opposite side EC. And they are parallel because PF is a part of AF. And QC is a part of EC. And we know that AF is parallel to EC. So any part of AF will be parallel to any part of EC. AF is parallel to EC because opposite sides of parallelogram AECF. Any part of AF will be parallel to any part of EC. So like that we have PF is parallel to QC. In triangle DQC, in triangle DQC, F is the mid, we are using the converse of midpoint theorem. F is the midpoint of CD. In triangle DQC, F is the midpoint of DC given. Through the midpoint F, we have a line parallel to the second side. See, look at only the triangle DQC. F is the midpoint of one side CD. Through F, we have a line parallel to the second side CQ. The line through the midpoint of one side of a triangle parallel to the second side. We have these two. What is the result? Bisects the third side. So the third side is DQ. The third side of the triangle, we are talking about the triangle DQC. The sides are DQ, QC, DC. DQ, QC, and DC. Bisects the third side. That means P is the midpoint of DQ. P is the midpoint of DQ. If P is the midpoint of DQ, it means DP is equal to PQ. It means DP is equal to PQ. Next, take up this triangle. See, we have to take up triangles where we have parallel lines. So first we took up these two. We took up this triangle. We took up this triangle DQC, where this is parallel to this. Now we also know that this portion is parallel to this portion. So take up that triangle BPA, this one. Now take up the triangle APB or BPA, this one, this triangle. Take up this triangle. We have another set of parallel lines here. Take up this triangle. Here we know that E is the midpoint of AB given. Through E, we have a line EQ parallel to the second side of the triangle AP. So by the converse of midpoint theorem, Q is the midpoint of BP. Q is the midpoint of BP. In triangle ABP, E is the midpoint of AB given. Through E, this line EQ is parallel to the second side AP. That we have proved because I've told you many times, because AF is parallel to EC. So AP is parallel to EQ. Now, by the converse of midpoint theorem, Q is the midpoint of BP. Q is the midpoint of BP. So earlier we proved that P is the midpoint of DQ. So we got DP is equal to PQ. DP is equal to PQ. Here we get Q is the midpoint of BP. Q is the midpoint of BP. That means PQ is equal to QB or BQ. So it's like we have a result. We have results like this: A is equal to B and B is equal to C. So that means A is equal to B is equal to C. A is equal to B is equal to C. So if DP is equal to PQ is equal to QB, that means it's trisected. If you divide, if you have a ribbon 15 centimeters long and you cut it into 3 equal pieces of 5 centimeters each, that means you've trisected. You've cut it into 3 equal halves, 3 equal portions. 3 equal portions, trisected. So if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, that means A is equal to B is equal to C, which means the diagonal BD is trisected. Children, I'll show you the answer. Please go through the answer, the proof, and start writing. As you write, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Are we writing, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please write. As you write, look at the figure. When you write AB is equal to CD, look at the figure AB is equal to CD and say, yeah, AB is equal to CD. So as you write, understand whatever you're writing. Finish writing, children?
1 minute, ma'am.
Okay.
1 minute, ma'am.
All right, yeah. Let me know, children, when you're done. Completed, children?
Completed, ma'am.
All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Okay.
Completed, ma'am.
Next one. Show that the line segments joining the midpoints of the opposite sides of a quadrilateral bisect each other. Here. Quadrilateral. So quadrilateral. Line segments. And line segments join what? The midpoints of the opposite sides of the quadrilateral. So midpoint, midpoint, opposite sides, midpoints. This is a line segment joining the midpoints. Midpoint, midpoint. This is the line segment joining the midpoint. Midpoints. So that's how we get a figure like this. We need to prove that, see, the line segments join the midpoints of the opposite sides. They are not diagonals. Okay, quadrilateral. Midpoint, 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 midpoint. This is the line segment joining the midpoints of the opposite sides. This is also a line segment joining the midpoints of the opposite sides. We need to show that these two line segments bisect each other. They are not diagonals. They are not diagonals. Even otherwise, it's only a quadrilateral. So in every quadrilateral, the diagonals will not bisect each other. Only in a parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other. So we need to prove that these line segments bisect each other. They are not diagonals also. How to prove? See, if these are diagonals of the quadrilateral, maybe we can just think of something. They are not diagonals. They are line segments joining the opposites. They are line segments joining the midpoints of the opposite sides. How can we show that they bisect each other? There are some random two line segments. So what you do is you do a construction so that these line segments will become the diagonals of that quadrilateral. Now, for this quadrilateral, they are not diagonals. They are just line segments joining the midpoints of the opposite sides. Now, we are going to do a construction so that these two line segments become the diagonals of that new quadrilateral. So for that, what you do is you join this, you join the midpoints like this in order. You join the midpoints like this in order. So what happens now? Now these two line segments become the diagonal of a quadrilateral. They become the diagonal of a quadrilateral. Now it's simple because we'll show that this quadrilateral, this new quadrilateral, will prove is a parallelogram. If you prove that this new quadrilateral is a parallelogram, automatically or obviously these two line segments bisect each other because they're the diagonals of the parallelogram, and we know that the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So this is the given situation. Construction, join. Why do we join like this? So that the line segment P, the line segments PR and SQ become the diagonals of PQRS. Now we are going to prove that PQRS is a parallelogram. Once you prove PQR is a parallelogram, since PR and SQ are the diagonals of the parallelogram, they bisect each other. So directly we are not proving that they bisect each other. We prove that they're the diagonals of a parallelogram. We prove that they're the diagonals of a parallelogram, so they bisect each other. Now to prove that PQRS is a parallelogram, we need another construction. We need to join one of the diagonals of the outermost quadrilateral. The outermost quadrilateral is ABCD. The outermost quadrilateral is ABCD. We need to join one of the two diagonals, any one of the two diagonals of the outermost quadrilateral. So you can join BD or you can join AC, anything. You can join BD or join AC. This construction is to prove that PQRS is a parallelogram. It's similar to the first one. Same exercise, first one. Same exercise, first one we proved that the quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Okay, now this proof is simple. Nikita, tell me in triangle ABD. Somebody please tell me in triangle ABD. What do we do in triangle ABD? What can you say about P and S?
S is midpoint of AB.
Yeah, not SP. P is the midpoint of. In triangle ABD, P is the midpoint of.
AB.
S is the midpoint of.
AD.
Yeah, now by midpoint theorem, what are the results?
SP is parallel to DB and is half of DB.
Okay, very good. SP is parallel to BD and SP is equal to half of BD. Which is the other triangle, children, we have to take up and use the midpoint theorem. In triangle. Take up the triangles on either sides of the diagonal BD. You connected BD, right? With BD, we have two triangles. With BD as a side, we have two triangles. BDA. Then what do we have?
BDC.
BDC. BDC. We connected the diagonal BD. We connected the diagonal BD. So you have to take up two triangles which have BD as a side. You connected BD, right? So you need to choose two triangles that have BD as a side. So it will be BDA, BDC. See, it's simple. It should have BD and then the remaining two sides must have midpoints. When you choose a triangle, now we know that PQRS are the midpoints of the sides. So when you choose a triangle, ABD, one is it has a diagonal BD. Then it has the sides AB and AD where we know the midpoints of the sides. So the other triangle is BDC. BDC. Why? Because we know the sides are CB where you know Q is the midpoint, CD where you know R is the midpoint, and BD. BD, you don't need to know the midpoint of BD. Midpoints of any two sides. So the triangle should have CB and CD along with the diagonal BD. So CBD. When you choose the triangle must have two sides whose midpoints are known and one third side. So here, tell me children, how do we use the midpoint theorem? In triangle BDC. Be the first to answer. Don't wait for your friends to unmute. Yeah. All of us want somebody else to take the, chance. You don't want to do it.
Q is the midpoint of BC and R is the midpoint of CD.
Very good. Yes, therefore
So
my midpoint is
QR will be parallel to BD and half of BD.
very good. Thank you, Ananya. So from these two, we have, when you compare, we have these results. SP is parallel to BD and SP is equal to half BD. SP is equal to half BD. This is from one triangle, midpoint theorem in one triangle. Other triangle we got RQ is parallel to BD and RQ is equal to half BD. So when you compare SP is parallel to BD, RQ is parallel to BD. That means SP is parallel to RQ. SP is parallel to RQ. SP is half of BD, RQ is also half of BD. That means SP is equal to RQ. SP is equal to RQ. So in quadrilateral PQRS, we have proved that one pair of opposite sides is parallel and equal, and hence PQRS is a parallelogram. PR and SQ are the diagonals of the parallelogram. So these line segments bisect each other. Yes, children, please make it fast. Don't write the proof alone, children. You must start writing from given. Given to prove construction and proof. Isn't the proof simple, children? No replies. Okay. Finish writing, children? Should I wait? Or done? Done?
Completed, ma'am.
Okay. Others?
Completed.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
All right. Tell me, how do we do this? What is the construction? What's the construction?
Joining BD and PQQR, RS and SP.
Which comes first? So join PQ, QR, RS and SP. And then join BD.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we prove that PQRS is a parallelogram. We prove that PQRS is a parallelogram by using midpoint theorem in two triangles. By using midpoint theorem in two triangles, we prove that PQRS is a parallelogram. Then, by the property of a parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other, so PR and SQ bisect each other. You must remember the proof like a story and just write it. So like how you first decide, you plan what to write and then write. If it's an English exam, you're given a random topic and you have to write an essay or whatever about that topic. It's not maths to just keep doing, it's not numerical. One step will not take you to the next. You'll have to collect, you'll have to think, collect information in your mind, and then execute it in the paper. So same with the proof. You need to first plan how to go about proving the result. And then what you plan, you should write down. Because it's theory, it's more or less theoretical. So one step will not take you to the next. You have to first plan, okay, let me do this construction. Then you're going to get a parallel, a quadrilateral. Then let me prove that it's a parallelogram. So you need to know the way the proof goes. I'm just going to show you the proof and ask me any questions. You can see the information here, the question here. Here you have. You start. This is the solution starts from here. Given to prove. There's no construction here, so proof. There's another slide. Yeah, please start writing.
Can you go to the previous slide 1 second, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Ananya. Yeah. Finish writing, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All of us, should I wait for anybody? Children. Triangle. Oh, 1 minute. Okay. So triangle ABC is a right angle, is a right, is, no, ABC is a triangle right angle, let's see. Let me just take this figure. Sure, you're all laughing at your end. Yeah. ABC is a triangle right angle, let's see. Yes, we see that. A line through the midpoint M of the hypotenuse AB. A line through, see, I think you have to make this figure. So you need to draw a triangle, ABC, right angle, let's see. So we can see it's right angle, let's see. A line through the midpoint M of the hypotenuse AB. So triangle ABC, right angle, let's see. AB is hypotenuse. Obviously, if C is the right, if it is right angle, let's see, then AB will be the hypotenuse. AB will be the hypotenuse. Okay, M is the midpoint of the hypotenuse AB. Okay, M is the midpoint of the hypotenuse AB. A line through the midpoint M of the hypotenuse AB and parallel to BC. So this one, so see, yes. A, C, B, right angle. AB is the hypotenuse. M is the midpoint of the hypotenuse. A line through the midpoint, see, it intersects AC at D. So you don't go like this. You don't go outside the figure like this. You need to come like this because it meets AC. So a line through M. So this is a line through M. Parallel to BC. So the line is drawn parallel to BC. Intersects AC. So it comes and meets AC. Where at D. A line, M is the midpoint of the hypotenuse AB. A line through M, parallel to BC, meets AC at D.
Yep.
Yes? Show that D is the midpoint of AC. Show that D is the midpoint of AC. So that is the direct result by converse of midpoint theorem. M is the midpoint of AB. MD is parallel to BC given. Therefore, by converse of midpoint theorem, D is the midpoint of AC. Next, we need to prove that MD is parallel to BC. MD is perpendicular. Sorry, MD is perpendicular to AC. We need to prove that MD is like this MD and this is AC. We need to prove that they are perpendicular. That means they must meet at right angles. This is MD. This is MD. This is AC. You need to prove that they are perpendicular. That means this angle or this angle should be 90. So since this is 90 degrees, corresponding angles are equal. This is also 90. Because parallel lines, transversal, corresponding angles are equal. So if this is 90, this is also 90. Why? Because we know that these two lines are parallel. This line is parallel to this line is known to us. So parallel lines and AC is a transversal. You know that, right? Parallel lines, transversal, corresponding angles are equal. AC is a transversal, corresponding angles are equal. So we have 90 here also. This is 90 because it's a right angle at C. So this is 90. So this is also 90. This is also 90. Yeah, and that's it. So MD is perpendicular to AC. Finally, we need to show that CM is equal to MA is equal to half AB. CM is equal to MA is equal to half AB. That means you must show that CM is half AB and MA is half AB. All the three are equal. You should show that CM is equal to MA. You must show that CM is equal to MA. And each of them is equal to half of AB. Now, CM is equal to MA. How do we prove that CM is equal to MA? Where is CM? We don't find CM anywhere. So join the point C and M. That's why we need join CM. Why do we join CM? Because CM line segment CM is mentioned, but we don't see the line segment CM. So join CM, construction, join CM. Now, how do we show that CM is equal to MA? CM is of triangle CMD. MA is of triangle DMA. So CM is the side of this triangle. MA is the side of this triangle. So prove that these two triangles are congruent. Prove that these two triangles are congruent. CPCTC, you will have CM is equal to MA. How to prove they are congruent is simple, so that you should have understood yourself. CM is of this triangle. Why we join CM is because we don't find the line segment CM. So we need to join CM because we have to show that CM is equal to MA. So join CM, construction, join CM. Next, CM is of this triangle, CMD. And MA is of the triangle AMD, MA. We need to show that these two triangles are congruent to each other. So CPCTC, you would have MA equal to CM. Because triangle CMD will be congruent to triangle AMD. So CM is equal to AM, CPCTC. Now, we know that AM is equal to half of AB. AM is half of AB because M is the midpoint of AB. MA is half AB. That we don't have to prove. It's given. MA is equal to half AB. MA is equal to half AB. We don't have to prove this. MA is equal to half of AB because M is the midpoint of AB. So obviously MA and MB, they are half of AB. But we know that CM and MA are equal. CM is equal to MA. CM is equal to MA. So CM is equal to MA. MA is equal to half AB. So CM is equal to MA is equal to half AB. See here. See here. MA is half AB. We know this. This part of the equality is true. MA is equal to half AB. Earlier we have proved that CM is equal to MA. CP/CTC. So CM is equal to MA is equal to half AB. MA is equal to half of AB is already known to us. MA is half AB. We don't need more efforts to prove this. MA is equal to half of AB because M is the midpoint of AB. But through congruency, we proved that CM is equal to MA. CM is equal to MA. So CM is equal to MA. It's like A is equal to B, B is equal to C. So ABC equal. CM is equal to MA, CP/CTC. MA is equal to half AB. That is known to us. So CM is equal to MA is equal to half AB. So first, by converse of midpoint theorem, you will get that D is the midpoint of AC. The first one. D is the midpoint of AC by converse of midpoint theorem. MD perpendicular to AC by corresponding angles equal. Angle 1 is equal to angle 2. Corresponding angles are equal. So MD is perpendicular. This is MD. I was saying this is MD. This is AC. You must show that they are perpendicular to each other. That means you must prove that this angle is 90 degrees. Corresponding angles are equal, so 90 degrees. So the second result, MD is perpendicular to AC. Third one, CM. So we should join CM. We should join CM. Take up these two triangles. Show that they are congruent to each other. So you will get MA is equal to MC or CM. CM is equal to MA. CP/CTC, CM is equal to MA. But MA is equal to half AB. So CM is equal to MA is equal to half AB. That's what you should have understood, children. Yes, very important. Make a note of this. Please write down this, children. Some of the proofs we have seen, some of these results we have proved in exercise 8.2, some of which we haven't. But remember them. Some of these results we have proved in exercise 8.2. The first one we have proved. The quadrilateral, so everywhere it is this, the quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of the sides of a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. That is, okay, let's do it. All right, children, I think let's just do it together. Now this is a quadrilateral. Midpoints of the quadrilateral. Midpoints of the quadrilateral. Sorry, I'm drawing some cartoon. Quadrilateral. Midpoints. Midpoints. When you join this, when you join the midpoints, you get another quadrilateral. This quadrilateral will always be a parallelogram. This quadrilateral is always a parallelogram. The quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of the sides of a quadrilateral. This is the quadrilateral. This is the quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of the sides of another quadrilateral. Now this one will always be a parallelogram. This one is a parallelogram. The outer one can be any quadrilateral. The outer one is a quadrilateral. Its midpoints you mark and you join, you get another quadrilateral. That is always a parallelogram. That is what is this result. So like that, children, we've seen this. If it's a parallelogram, you join the midpoints. This one is also a parallelogram. This one will also be a parallelogram. This one also will be a parallelogram. The quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoint of the side of a parallelogram is a parallelogram. So quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Parallelogram is also a parallelogram. Rhombus is a rectangle. Rectangle is a rhombus. Rhombus, rectangle, rectangle, rhombus. Square, square. Parallelogram, parallelogram. Square, square. Quadrilateral, parallelogram. Isosceles trapezium, rhombus. Kite, rectangle. MCQs, important. Quickly write on this. I'm just preparing a test on quadrilaterals, MCQs. I think it will be available in your account today or by tomorrow morning. So do that. We will not have a class on Sunday as I texted you. So instead of the class on Sunday, I've scheduled an exam. I'll be scheduling an exam. Please complete the exam. It will be available till Monday. The holiday, no, so might be you have different plans. I'll keep it open till you all finish. At least by Wednesday, try to finish the exam. Just for 1 hour. MCQs. Finish writing, children. Can we move on? I can't hear anything. I don't know. Are you guys or not? Is it over, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Class, use the emoji. Raise your hand. Deepika, Kanishka, Ananya, Pratiksha, Vasudevan, Sangamitra, Nikita, Hitesh, E. Tarun. All children. Examples. The exercise, before exercise 8.2, we have 2 examples. We did not do that. We did not do them. We'll see them now. Example 7. Yeah. Now, to understand example 7, we need to know a property of a parallelogram. The diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into 2 congruent triangles. That is ABCD is a parallelogram. This one is a parallelogram. Now this diagonal, any diagonal, to connect this diagonal. See, now we can show that these two triangles are congruent to each other. ABCD. See here? In these two triangles, in this triangle and this triangle, this side is equal to this side because opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. This side is equal to this side. Again, opposite sides equal, and this is the common side. This is the common side. So if you say DAB, triangle DAB, if you say triangle DAB like this, is equal to BCD. Is congruent to BCD. Triangle DAB is congruent to triangle BCD by SSS congruence criterion. So this is the property of the diagonal of a parallelogram. The diagonal divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. And congruent triangles are equal in area. Because what is congruency? Identical. Congruency means identical. So when we say that the triangles are congruent, that means they have the same area. Congruent triangles are identical triangles. So identical triangles will have the same area. But if two triangles have the same area, they need not be congruent. The converse is not true. Two triangles with the same area need not be congruent because they may look different. They'll occupy the same area, but they may look different. Both triangles, but they may look different. So like supposing a triangle with base 10. Triangle with base 10 and altitude, okay, base height, okay. Supposing we have a triangle with base 10 and altitude 8. We have another triangle with base 16 and altitude 5. They'll have the same area. Half base into height, when you do, they'll have the same area. Triangle with base 10, height 8. Base 16, height 5. Two triangles. One triangle with base 10 units, height 8 units. Another triangle with base 16 units and height 5 units. They'll have the same area, 40 square units. But look at the side. Here you can see only one side. Here you can see only one side. But even if you have full-fledged information and construct the triangles, they'll look different. Two triangles with the same area may be congruent. They may be congruent, but they need not be congruent. But two congruent triangles are always equal in area because congruent itself means identical. So if they're identical, one looks exactly like the other. So they should have the same area. But two congruent triangles are always equal in area. But two triangles equal in area need not be congruent to one another. I was just telling class 8 this morning that when we were young, whatever the teacher says in the class, we used to take running notes. I don't know if we have that habit today. I don't know. When something is new, immediately you must note it down. Somewhere in your book, just draw a cloud like this. You can write and then just put a cloud. You can use a different color pen. Make a note of the question need not have only its answer. Along with the answer, you can have so many points which you feel is new to you. You already know it and you know it very well, fine. Any information you feel is new and you want to retain it, then you should write down. Because now we'll understand. Now we'll be like, yeah, okay, correct. But you will not, if you don't write it down, you will not see it any other day. So you'll forget it. The course of time would have forgotten. You must write it in your book so that you will visit it. When you open your book and visit these sums, you will visit that information also. The more often you visit, better will be the retention. Of course, along with interest, interest is the crucial factor. Anything with interest you do, it will always lead to success. All right. Yeah, now, so that is what it is. The diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles. The diagonal of it's there in the proof. I've mentioned that in the proof. Okay, see here, I mentioned it. Diagonal D divides parallelogram D, this one, into two congruent triangles. So don't worry about that. That's a property. Okay. So now this proof is very simple. Just a minute, children. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, it's time for the other class, so I'm like confused. I don't know what to say now. What should I say? What are we trying to do? I think mentally into the other class. Okay, yeah, children. So we have to prove that these two. Yeah. Let me read the statement again. Okay, I've been getting some messages from the other students, so students of the other class. So we have a triangle ABC in which, oh, I think I did not read the question. That's what I was wondering, why my mind is not processing anything. I did not read the question at all, right? I directly started with the property of the diagonal in a parallelogram. That's what I was wondering, why I'm not able to say anything. Oh my God. Okay, so triangle ABC, children. Triangle ABC. This is the property which we will be using to prove the result here. So here in triangle ABC, D, E, and F are respectively the midpoints of the sides AB, BC, and AC. Show that the triangle ABC is divided into four congruent triangles by joining D, E, and F. So you must prove that this triangle midpoints, join the midpoints like this, join the midpoints. So now the whole triangle is divided into four triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 triangles. The whole triangle is divided into 4 triangles. You need to show that these 4 triangles are congruent to each other. You need to show that these 4 triangles are congruent to each other. So it's very simple. You just need to, let me number it. Is the information given understood, and have you understood what result has to be proved, children?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have triangles 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the whole triangle ABC. The whole triangle ABC is now divided into 4 triangles 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have to show that 1 is congruent to 2, is congruent to 3, is congruent to 4. Show that triangle ABC is divided into 4 congruent triangles by joining D, E, and F. So we need to show that triangle 1 is congruent to triangle 2, is congruent to triangle 3, is congruent to triangle 4. Okay. For that, we'll prove that this one is a parallelogram. We'll prove that this is a parallelogram. This one is a parallelogram by midpoint theorem. By midpoint theorem, we'll prove that this one is a parallelogram. This one is a parallelogram. How we'll prove that by midpoint theorem? Because D is the midpoint of AB, F is the midpoint of AC. So by midpoint theorem, DF is parallel to BC. If DF is parallel to BC, see here, A, B, C. Take only this. If you're getting confused with many line segments, draw a separate figure. D is the midpoint of AB, F is the midpoint of AC. By midpoint theorem, DF is parallel to BC. If DF is parallel to BC, DF will also be parallel to BE because BE is a part of BC. And DF will be equal to half of BC. And what is half of BC? BE. So DF is parallel to BE and DF is equal to half of BC, which is BE. So we prove by midpoint theorem, we prove that opposite sides of quadrilateral DBEF are parallel and equal. So DBEF is a parallelogram. Once you prove DBEF is a parallelogram, the diagonal DE divides it into two congruent triangles. Therefore, triangle 2 is congruent to triangle 3. Procedure is first prove that DBEF is a parallelogram. DBEF is a parallelogram. DBEF is a parallelogram. Then once you prove it's a parallelogram, DE is the diagonal. And we know that the diagonal divides it into two congruent triangles. So triangle 2 is congruent to triangle 3. Before that, I should show you how many quadrilaterals we have here. So we have, see here children, this is one. We have one quadrilateral like this, which can be proved as a parallelogram. We have another quadrilateral like this. We have another quadrilateral like this, which can be proved as a parallelogram. Same, so, meaning the procedure is the same. Using the earlier one itself, you can say D is the midpoint, F is the midpoint. So DF is parallel to EC. DF is parallel to BC. So DF is parallel to EC. And DF is equal to half of BC, which is EC. Because E is the midpoint. So this is another parallelogram. And this one. See here, this one. There are three parallelograms. In this triangle, you know, there are three parallelograms. Inside this triangle, there are three quadrilaterals, and all the three quadrilaterals can be proved to be parallelograms. This one also by midpoint theorem. This is the midpoint. This is the midpoint. So this one is parallel to this one. So that means these two are parallel, and these two will be equal. So this is a parallelogram. One pair of opposite sides parallel and equal. So this is a parallelogram. So there are three quadrilaterals. There are three quadrilaterals inside this triangle. Of the three quadrilaterals, you should prove that any two are parallelograms. Children, we need to prove that triangle 1 is congruent to triangle 2, is congruent to triangle 3, is congruent to triangle 4. This is one thing. In the, are we all there? I'm not talking to myself, right? Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, we need to, this is what we have to prove. And in the triangle ABC, we have three quadrilaterals, which can be proved are parallelograms. Now, you don't have to prove that all the three are parallelograms. Prove that any two of them are parallelograms. Any two. Prove any two of them are parallelograms. Okay. So now what happens? I need to, I'm literally in the next class, children. Sorry. I'm very sorry to say that also. Now, so this is what, so when you prove that this one is a parallelogram, just tell me if I'm not clear. When you prove that this is a parallelogram, by the property of the diagonal, what do you get? 2 is congruent to 3. 2 is congruent to 3. When you prove that this one is a parallelogram, this one is a parallelogram, what do you get? 2 is congruent to 4. And when, so you have to prove that all the three are parallelograms. When you prove that this one is a parallelogram, the result you get will be 1 is congruent to 2. So from these results, all the 4 triangles are congruent to each other. The property uses diagonal divides it into 2 congruent triangles. When you prove that this one is a parallelogram, this quadrilateral is a parallelogram, diagonal DF divides it into 2 congruent triangles. So 1 is congruent to 2. When you prove that this one is a parallelogram, this one is a parallelogram, diagonal DE divides it into 2 congruent triangles. So 2 is congruent to 3. When you prove that this one, so we'll have to prove that all the 3 are parallelograms. So all 3 are parallelograms. When you prove that this one is a parallelogram, diagonal. Yeah, so when you prove that this one is a parallelogram, this one is a parallelogram, diagonal EF divides it into 2 congruent triangles. So 2 is congruent to 4. 2 is congruent to 4. From all these results, you can show that 1 is congruent to 2 is congruent to 3. Because see here, 1 is congruent to 2. 1 is congruent to 2. But 2 is congruent to 3 and 4. So that means all are congruent to each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, all are congruent to each other. We don't have time to write the proof, children, in the class. Please take a screenshot. Please complete this. Maybe you can all complete this and then share the pictures by 9 o'clock today. Please complete this one also and then share the pictures. Please take a screenshot. First go through the proof, read the proof, and then write it down. Done? Shall I show the next slide? Over, children. Okay, I hope you've all taken the screenshots. This is one more. With this, we finish exercise 8.2 and the examples. This one is really simple. I'm sure you can follow it. Please complete this one also.
Ma'am, can you show the previous slide?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. And then this one is easy. Take a screenshot, complete this or complete example 7 and 8 and then submit your classwork, please. If your classwork is incomplete and you submit it, I will not include your name, please. Please finish it and send it by 9:30 today. Yeah, that's all. This is the proof for example 8. No, this is example 7. I'm sorry, 8. The question is also here. This is just a question. You can see the question along with the proof. Yeah.
Example 7.
Example 7, huh? Okay. This one. Let me come from the beginning. This is the first slide.
And the previous slide.
The second slide. The third one.
Ma'am?
Yes. Okay, I'll share the recording. You can see it in that, children. It's getting late for the next class for me. Pratiksha, are you done?
From the previous slide, ma'am.
1 minute. Which previous slide? Prior to example 7, huh? There's nothing. They've showed you everything. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. Please submit your classwork. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, children. Thank you.